Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
But who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of CLR, Criminal Lawyer Reacts. And I am a board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Actually, try cases. I see the inside of the courtroom every single day. Today, we're reacting to the FBG Duck homicide. And we're going to do a few things, mix it up a little bit today. We're going to play a little video, show you kind of the beginning of how this thing started, and then show you the reaction from his mother, and then kind of go into the indictment. So, let's just start by watching this video together.
Okay. You good? See, I ain't even been back from LA in a couple of days. All right, come on.
So we have the ambulances there. He's down. Cops are doing crowd control.
I know. When they get him on the bed, that's when I'm gonna leave.
You gotta get behind that yellow tape though, man.
All right. Okay, then.
I know you record all you want, man. I'm just saying you gotta get behind that yellow tape.
And that's FBG Duck on the ground right there.
All right. Okay, I just gotta make sure he get in his AMT. When they put him in his AMT. All right.
So let's just kind of recap of what happened there. FBG Duck, he's from the 63rd and St. Lawrence area of Chicago. He's a GED, Gangster Disciple. And the rival gangs, the King Von group, that's the O Block, okay? And so here's the thing. He was leaving, this was on August 4th of 2020. He was in Chicago into the Gold Coast area, and he was in that one of DG store, Dolce Gabbana, and he was killed, and two other people were injured. So he was shot, and two other people were shot as well, but FBG Duck was the only one killed. Now, it was reported that two vehicles pulled up, 4 people got out of them, pop, and then they fled the scene. One was a black, newer Ford. The other one was a silver Chrysler 300. Rumor has it there was $1 million bounty on on FBG Duck. Now, he was shot in the chest, the groin, and in the neck. And it took emergency crews about 15 minutes or thereabouts to get to him. So he was not treated right away. One weapon was recovered, and the weapon that was recovered, probably not the murder weapon. My guess is that the murder weapon was in the vehicles that fled. And there was a witness who saw 2 men standing outside the store, heard some shots, and then saw the 2 men flee. Don't know if those 2 guys were a part of this or not. So why is this important now? Well, as it was announced yesterday by his mother, there was an arrest, a significant arrest of I'll get into the indictment and the people that were arrested. But let's kind of watch what FBG Duck's mother had to say yesterday.
I'm feeling numb. I'm just feeling like I can't even describe it. Like, I just want to thank everybody that...
First of all, to lose a child, I don't care how old your child is, your children are not supposed to die before you. Your children are supposed to bury you. And so it's very, very difficult to lose a child. And I know FBG Duck was a grown man, but still, it's very difficult to lose a child.
That was there for me and just was... I wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to stop advocating for my son. I'm not like no other parent, and I'm not knocking the other parent, but we have some parents that show their grief through their actions. So
That's a good point that she makes about advocating for your child, even in your child's death. It's just there's no greater pain than losing someone that way.
And when I got the call, because, speaking to these people and them assuring me that, because I didn't know anything, okay? I didn't know no suspects. I didn't know who did nothing. Like, they couldn't disclose that type of information to me. And I didn't.
First of all, one of the things that happened in this case before they arrested these people, they indicted them. And when they indicted them, it was done under seal, okay? Because it wasn't made public. So once they got him into custody, the first thing the feds probably did was notify his mother.
I saw the stuff on the internet, and, speculation, knowing is one thing. I just wanted to know. And they called me this morning and told me, and they named the suspects, and I didn't know them by their, well, I knew a couple of them by their first name because one of them was implicated in the killing of Brick. And
Now, she just talked about one of the people in this was implicated in the killing of Brick. Brick was FBG Duck's older brother.
And I said, come to find out, one of them was, the people who Duck mentioned and the son. It was his brother. You see what I'm saying? Like a son. He never personally did nothing to none of these people. Nothing. So what other reason? Why was it so important that he had to die? Is society built on that type of stuff? Like,
that is a mother's refrain. Why did he have to die? He didn't have to die. So the people that were arrested, you may have heard this already, but it's Charles Liggins, a.k.a. C. Murda. And can you imagine C. Murda? Imagine that being read in open court. You're kind of starting out in a hole there, right? Kenneth Roberson, a.k.a. Kenny, a.k.a. Kenny Mack. To Carlos Offord, a.k.a. Los Christopher Thomas, a.k.a. C. Thang. And Marcus Smart, a.k.a. Muwap. Now, it's interesting because this is a federal case. This is not a state case. There is, and they charge them under the RICO statute. If you know, it's the Racketeering and Corrupt Organizations Act. And basically, you've got at least five counts here. I've got the indictment right here. And, they talk about the O Block gang. And now, remember what I was telling you guys about self-snitching, about all that kind of crap and putting shit on social media? Well, the O Block Enterprises constituted an ongoing organization whose members function as continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving objectives and enterprise. That's what the Corrupt Organizations Act is all about. The purpose of the enterprise included but not limited to acquiring, preserving, and protecting power, territory, operations, proceeds for the enterprise through the use of threats, intimidation, violence, including but not limited to murder and other acts of violence and illegal trafficking in controlled substances. So, taking steps to prevent law enforcement's detection, but promoting and enhancing the enterprise and its members and associates, including by publicly claiming responsibility for acts of violence committed by the enterprise and taunting rival gang members. And they do this through social media. And that's the one thing that I can never get my head around, why these guys put this stuff on social media. You see terrorist groups do that. They take responsibility for a crime of violence. They take responsibility for all that kind of stuff. But these guys are doing the same type of thing, except for they're not going underground. they're out there. I mean, they're out there. Here's my album, and I'm talking about how I just killed so and so. So you've got count one, which is defendants herein for the purpose of maintaining increasing position in O Block and enterprise and racketeering did knowingly commit the murder of Carlton Weekly, a.k.a. FBG Duck, in violation of the laws of the state of Illinois. Now, this happened in August of 2020. We are now in almost November of 2021. So why did it take so long for them to indict these guys? And what happens? First of all, what is an indictment? Indictment. This is the indictment right here. And an indictment is a charging instrument, and it's basically a document that lays out what the charges are. And in order to get an indictment in federal court, you have to go to a grand jury. And a grand jury is made up of 18 to 23 people. They serve anywhere from 6 month to mostly like 18-month terms. And you don't get a lawyer. Lawyer can wait outside if you're subpoenaed to the grand jury. There's no judge. If you have a dispute with somebody, you can go down the hall and get a ruling from a judge. But there's no judge. It's just a prosecutor. So instead of drafting up a complaint, they put something before a grand jury. And they only have to find probable cause in order to indict somebody. That's just that it's more likely true than not true that a crime was committed, and that the person that they're talking about here, and in this case, these guys, C. Murder and C. Thang and Muwab, that they and Kenny Mack, that they committed a crime. They allege that they committed a crime, and that it's more likely true than not that they committed the crime. Now, there's other charges in the indictment, and the other charges include possession of a firearm, commission of a crime of violence, and furtherance of a conspiracy to commit murder, and it's all in furtherance of the gang's interest. So it's you have a conspiracy case, and here's the thing: in order to commit a conspiracy, for a conspiracy to be completed, you don't have to actually kill anybody. A conspiracy to commit murder, all you have to do is show that there was an overt act, an agreement between two or more people, and an overt act. And in this case, just driving down the store, but without even shooting anything, if you had a plan to kill him and the plan was foiled, your conspiracy to commit murder is already done just by driving to the place. That's an overt act. And in this case, you've got several other counts, and two of the other counts are related to the two other victims that were injured. So you have the murder of FBG Duck, you've got the injury to the two victims, and then you've got other firearms related counts. But it's all couched in 1959, which is the RICO statute. And it's couched in that so that, it would be a life sentence for sure if they're found guilty. But by doing it this way, it's what makes it federal. So, and the next thing that'll happen, all these guys, all 5 of these guys, will go before a magistrate, and the magistrate will determine whether or not they're released. This would be a presumptive detention case. What does that mean? Well, in federal court, you're not guaranteed the right to bail. Certain types of cases are presumptive detention. Controlled substance cases are cases like that. And this case is also, because it involves firearms and a death and a crime of violence, there's a presumption that they're detained. And it's a rebuttable presumption. What does that mean? Well, it means that the people who are being charged, it's not their burden to show that there are a condition or set of conditions that can be imposed upon them that do 2 things. 1, assure their reappearance so that they're not a risk of flight. And number 2, assure the safety of the public. Okay? And because this is a homicide, there's just no way they're going to get out. There's just not. I mean, it's not even in the cards. Even if they come up with $10 million bail, the judge is not going to release them. Period. So they will have their initial appearance here probably tomorrow, I would guess, and then they'll be held without bond, and then the clock starts ticking. The Speedy Trial Act starts ticking, and you'll see this move along quickly. There's a lot of other cases out there. You see, why is this taking so long? Well, it takes a long time for some of these things because they're complex. But why did this take so long to charge out? Because they needed to button everything up with witnesses. And here's the other thing. They probably had to find some of these guys. Let's see, what is the date of the indictment? Let's look at the date of the indictment. All right, let's see. So the date of the indictment is September 30th, 2021. So that's a little over a year. So they had to investigate this case. And let me tell you something about the feds. They have a success rate of about 96 to 98% of the cases that they bring forward that they win. So they're super patient. The FBI is filled with people with graduate degrees, people who are motivated to beat all fucking hell, and they will, leave no stone unturned to make their case. And so when you get a federal indictment, unless it's something where there's an issue about the law that they're applying, they generally have the facts pretty well squirreled away. And so I would think that this case would go to a jury probably in about 8 to 12 months is my guess. So that is what's going on with the FBG Duck situation. So, and just to wrap this up, one of the things that the feds were looking at, and I've talked to you about this before, is their social media. They are mining that social media like nobody's business. Cops are listening to the drill music. They're watching Instagram. They're watching Facebook. They're watching YouTube. They are watching these guys like a hawk, and they're patient. So that's an update on the FBG Duck situation. My heart goes out to his mother, and my heart goes out to the parents of all 5 of these boys. So this has been Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer. We'll see you next time.